Coming directly off my day one binge of Ratchet Clank 2016, and hearing some mixed things from a few sources, namely Video Game Donkey and my co-host Abram Buhner, I honestly expected Ratchet Clank Rift Apart to be an underwhelming sequel not worthy of PS5 exclusivity hype. The truth of the matter is, though, that this is genuinely one of the highest production value and all-around complete and satisfying video game experiences I've ever had, and I couldn't be happier about it. Rift Apart hits the highest marks on essentially any metric you can throw at it. It's inarguably one of the highest fidelity of games the industry has ever seen, with immaculate character detail and texture work, and genuinely breathtaking lighting effects that somehow look even better in motion. This is supported by amazing animation for, well, everything, including fluid character movement, off-the-charts particle effects, huge-scale set-piece moments, and immensely impactful weaponry shots, all of which run at a blindingly smooth 60 FPS in performance ray tracing mode. While the titular rift mechanics of the game may not alter the core gameplay all that much, the visual variety and creativity that went into creating the technical marvel of instantly zapping between locations is engaging and clearly utilizes the PS5's SSD quite a lot. The best way I can describe the core combat gameplay is tactile. The previously mentioned weapon animation is combined with DualSense rumble and sound design to give you a lineup of weapons that all feel amazing to utilize, especially once they're upgraded and you're fighting in more complex battles. It's difficult to understate what a perfect gameplay loop the folks at Insomniac have created with the combat, upgrades, and exploration all feeding into one another. There's always a sense that you're being rewarded for experimenting with your arsenal, which not only allows you to upgrade your weapons even further and become better at the gameplay, but have more fun with each combat encounter as you learn which weapons synergize in satisfying ways. When you have a battle with dozens upon dozens of enemies with particle effects and explosions happening everywhere, but feel completely in control of how you're tackling the scenario, that really is video game magic. This game is also leaps and bounds more creative and charming than the 2016 reboot. The characters and worlds, even when gimmicky, exude personality and move the series forward in really fun ways. All four of our main protagonists, including the titular Ratchet and Clank and their alternate universe counterparts Rivet and Kit, deal with genuinely interesting personal issues, which gives the over-the-top, campy story a much more grounded and emotional impact. Rivet finds herself locked in a loop of being a hero that can never win, leading her to believe that she doesn't have it within her to make friends and rise triumphant. Her softer personal side is hidden behind a facade of swashbuckling suave, and watching her come to terms with trust and friendship was emotionally riveting, pun entirely intended. Kit, on the other hand, sees herself as dangerous and untrustworthy, as she unintentionally hurt others in the past. I loved watching her slowly open up with the ever-hopeful Ratchet literally at her back, and her character arc intersects with Rivet's in a powerful way. I definitely enjoyed being introduced to Rivet and Kit, and I can't imagine this series moving forward without them. Emperor Nefarious is also leagues more intimidating and exacting than his PhD counterpart, making the stakes feel higher and the pressure greater for you to actually save the world. Outside of the obvious core characters though, this game excels intensely well in creating side quests with memorable one-off characters, and having a ridiculously fun supporting cast. I think back to Tulio's ridiculous honey and suffering tower defense, having a heart-to-heart with the Fixer, and discovering the abandoned dimension of Junkbot and Juice. The Morts have some really funny dialogue, Miss Zircon and Zircon Jr. drip charm with every line, and Phantom, Quantum, and Pierre offer much more interesting personalities and backgrounds than their main universe counterparts. Does it feel like a game that couldn't run compromised on a PS4 or that utilizes every unique aspect of the PS5's capabilities? No, but I don't necessarily think that's a fair metric to score a game on. Rift Apart would be a solidly different experience if it was on a PS4 though, as the Rift tethers and non-existent load times would push the hardware past its limits and make that console roar even louder than it already does. Very few games ever reach the harmony between hardware gimmick utilization and ideal gameplay, especially not ones released less than a year into a console's life cycle. For an early PS5 game and one of the first true exclusives on the platform though, this game does everything it needs to. The gorgeous visuals and blisteringly speedy load times are at the peak of games being released at the moment, and the high polish of the overall experience makes the standout must-play for PS5 owners. Not that there's much competition. Unfortunately, Rift Apart still has a few holes in terms of glitches and bugs. I had my fair share of interactions with janky geometry, especially when rocketing around with the rocket boots. I clipped through platforms a handful of times, saw the occasional failed animation, and even got stuck in a pocket dimension one time and had to reload an older save. It's testament to the overall performance of the game and its load times then, that these moments hardly marred my experience in the slightest. With a few patches, this game may end up being technically flawless. Most importantly though, this is a game I can easily recommend to players of any skill level. The relative simplicity of the Ratchet gameplay formula easily works as baby's first action platformer, while Ratchet veterans will enjoy blasting through hordes of enemies, scouring the environments for secrets, and soaking in the gorgeous visuals and audio. This is all boosted even further by the game's in-depth accessibility options that allow players of any ability to tailor their experience to fit their needs. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a fantastic game. It boasts top-of-the-line visuals, gratifying combat, engaging exploration, wonderful characters, and awesome accessibility options. The team at Insomniac should be very proud of what they made, a game that sets the bar ludicrously high for its quality in every possible category. Does it reinvent the wheel? No, but there's something to be said for taking the wheel and polishing it until it gleams.